What if building AI agents didn't require code? What if anyone could design intelligence visually? Today, we are redefining how developers create multi-agent systems. No boilerplates, no complexity, just ideas turned into agents. Without no-code AI SaaS, you can orchestrate planners, thinkers, and executors without writing any single line of code. In this video, we're gonna take a look to an AI YouTube agent research trends that generate concepts and create high impactful thumbnails automatically. This isn't just automation. This is pure intelligence designed visually. Alright guys, now gonna get a demo of YouTube research agents. It allows users to make research about trending video idea, and it can generate thumbnail and edit thumbnail. Now we're gonna get a demo of it. We're gonna see it works. This is a multi-agent system that we built with this tool without writing any single line of code. You can see we have the YouTube research agents. This is managed agents with a group of 8 sub-agents: planner agents, macro research agents, image editor agents, image reader agents, chart generator agents, and image prompt generator agents. Okay, you can see we have 8 sub-agents. Okay, each sub-agent has a tool and it does one thing. Okay, now we're gonna see how it works in action. Now I'm going to head into in here. You can see this is the image that I previously passed to the system. I tell the agent to remove all objects on the image, and then the agent return only the background. Okay, it understands everything. Okay, and we can generate also great thumbnail. You can see this the image that I generated previously. Now what I'm going to do, I'm gonna upload here another image, and then I'm tell the agent to remove the tagger on the image. And here's the prompt, guys. Okay, you can see we pass here replace the tagger with the bear. Okay, and then I'm tap inner, and then the agent's gonna replace the tagger with a bear. Okay, the agent start working, and here you can see the agent is collaborating with other sub-agents. Okay, the main agent is collaborating with other sub-agents. Okay, if I head into the console, you can see actually the image reader is analyzing the image, and then they're gonna pass the image to the image modifier in order to modify the image. And then you're gonna see right now they delegate the task to the image editor, and then the image editor is gonna modify the image and then remove the tagger. Okay, we're gonna wait a bit. Yeah, you can see actually the agent replaced the tagger with a bear. You can see actually we have a new generated image. Okay, the agents finish working. Okay, and this is DeepSeek. I'm using DeepSeek. As Modal DeepSeek sometimes take a little time in order to finish, and you can see it works pretty well. You can see, and on the image I think I'm seeing some traces of the tiger. Let's wait a bit again. The agent finish. The agent still generating the data. Now we're gonna wait a bit. Yeah guys, the agent finished working, and you can see they replaced the tiger with a bear. You can see this the bear, but yeah, if I try to look a little bit, we have some traces of a tag on it. Yeah, you can see it succeeds guys. It replaced the tiger with a bear. Okay, it works pretty well. Now I'm gonna pass here another system prompt, and then the agent is gonna make a market research for us. Okay, I want to launch a YouTube channel about AI tool for content creators, and now you can see the agent is working. Okay, the agent start working, and if I head into the console again, you can see actually it delegates the work to the market research agents, and then the market research agents has say tools it make a website, and then they delegate the task again here to web scraper. Okay, the web scraper is gonna scrape a web link, and then it's gonna get data. You can see actually is working. And yeah, you can see it finish guys. You can see it finish. It even generate charts. Adoption rates of AI top tools. You can see it finish working. Okay, it's yeah, you can see we have here duplicated charts. Okay, and then we have here pie charts. And if I scroll at the bottom, you can see we have a table. If I continue scrolling, you can see yeah, we have a lot of data. Yeah, let me keep going. Yeah, you can see we have here a tool for content creators. It even generates an image. Okay, the agent generates also an image along the way, and you can see everything is working pretty well, guys. Okay, this is a system, and also guys, our system handle payment. If I head into billings, And here I have the possibility to attach my credit card here. If I click here, add payment methods, they're gonna take me to Stripe. And then in here, I'm gonna provide here my card number. And here I'm gonna pass here pay with our link. And then I'm gonna click here, I'm gonna select this. And here I'm pass here testing credit card. I'm pass here 4242. I'm gonna copy this. And then I'm gonna click here save. And then you're gonna see they're gonna take us to our app again. You can see we finish attaching our credit card. And guys, you can see I just attach my credit card. Here you can see it ends with 4242. And here I have the possibility to delete again. And if I click here upgrade, I can pick here a plan. And if I click submit, they're gonna charge me. Now I'm gonna head into the project page, and in here you can see we have here a bunch of AI agents created with this tool. And if I click here, you can see we can create a single agent. Or if you want, you can create a multi-agent system. We have here a bunch of agents, okay? I'm gonna click here, market or say agents. And if I click here, we have an email assistant agent. And yeah, that is the system. It works pretty well, guys. You can try to test it, okay? Try to build it, guys. Try to practice. And yeah, this is the last part of the video in a clone. And try this video, you're gonna learn how to stream a message from scratch using save-as-send events, okay? You're gonna learn how to do it. And also we're gonna add more tools in our app like ChartTools and image generation tool. We're gonna talk about payments. And I'd like to clarify also something, guys. Throughout this video, I'm gonna give you a high-level explanations. I'm not gonna write everything. I don't wanna end up with 10 hours video. I don't wanna make this video so long, okay? And yeah, let's get started. Alright guys, now I'm gonna talk about AMS streaming. So what is streaming first? Streaming the process of sending data in piece, in a chunk. Let's say we have 5 megabytes of data on the server. Now, instead of sending the entire 5 megabytes on the clients, we are going to send it in chunk, in a piece, not at once. You can see here we have you sends an input to the client. What is the counter word? Now the AI can perform a lot of action in background. Okay, it can perform a lot of job. Now, instead of waiting the entire message of the AI, instead we are going to stream a piece of the AI message. Okay, once the AI generates a message, we're gonna send it immediately on the client. It generates again, we send it. We aren't gonna wait. Let's say the AI message is a message of 2 megabytes. Okay, we are going to send. Let's say we can send 500 kilobytes first. Then we're gonna send another 500 kilobytes. And then we're gonna send another 200 kilobytes until we finish sending the entire message. Okay, we send the message in chunk, in piece. Okay, not at once. That's what we call streaming. Now in LangChain, in order to stream the AI message, we are going to use the stream function. Now, in order to get this piece of data from the server to the client, we're gonna use save-as-send events. So what is save-as-send events? Save-as-send event is a web technology that enables a web server to push real-time unidirectional updates to the clients over a single live HTTP connection. So what means unidirectional updates? It means data flows only from the server but not on clients. Okay. Now the save-as-send event is best for AI token streaming, live logs, or notification. Also is suited for real-time updates, okay? And it has some limitation. It only supports GETs, HTTP web, no request body, no binary data, one directional only, okay? Because the data flows only from the server. Now, let's see how it works in action. Now, what I'm going to do in here, I'm going to create a get endpoints, okay? I'm going to wrap it with our function with header handler. Now, in here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass here new readable stream. Okay, now we're gonna use this class in order to send a piece of data to the client. Okay, and then we're gonna pass the start control starts. We're gonna pass the start function, and then we're gonna pass the try catch in case we have an error. We can close the connection. Okay, and then I'm passing your controller .enqueue, and then we're gonna pass your data hello. We're gonna send hello to the clients. Okay, and then again after 5 seconds we're gonna send again from. Okay, and then here we're gonna pass here set timer after 10 seconds. Yeah, after 10 seconds we're gonna send again here AI. Okay, we're gonna send first hello to the clients. Once we receive hello from the client, we are going to wait after 5 seconds. We're gonna send again from, and then we're gonna send AI. And you can see here, in order to send data, we have to pass here data like this, data colon, and then you can pass it message, and then we're gonna pass here \n like this. If you don't do this, you aren't gonna receive the data on the client. Okay, now you can see we have here an endpoint inside the stream folder. Okay, I'm gonna zoom a little bit. You can see we have a stream folder. I created here a folder in order to explain you how save-as-send event works. Once we finish, I'm gonna delete it. And here you can see we have a folder here, test. Okay, we have a page. Now what I'm going to do in here, I'm going to comment everything in here. Let me comment all of this stuff right here. I'm not explaining that later. I'm not comment this, and I can take this and then I'm gonna pass it at the top in here. Now I'm going to comment here this state here, and I'm gonna move at the bottom and I'm comment this too. And if we head into the browser, you're gonna see we have a page here. We have here a page I've already created. You can see in here we have a page. At the top left corner we have a button test. Okay, this is the button. Okay, now what I'm going to do in here, once we click on the button, we are going to make a request to the server. We are going to hit that endpoint API/stream by using the event source class. We are going to hit that endpoint, and as that endpoint is going to retain a chunk of data, a piece of data. In order to get this data, we're going to pass the event source that on message. Once we have the message from the server, we are going to console that chunk here. And if you have an error here, we are going to close the connection. And also in here we forgot to pass here response to return here the response. We return here the stream. Okay, and we pass here the headers content type. For the content type, we pass the text /event stream char set UTF-8, and we pass the cache control, no cache, no transform, and for the connection we pass the keep alive. Okay, now if we head into the browser, we are going to try this. We're gonna see what we're gonna get here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on the button here, and then I'm gonna head into in here. You can see response. Okay, actually we got data in here, and then we got here from. And after some seconds, we're gonna receive here another change. Okay, now this is how we stream data, guys. Okay, we use the server-send event in order to send a piece of data. Okay, from the save. Okay, we send first hello, we send again from, and then AI. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to create custom events. You can see, actually, you just learn how to receive data from the server. Now I'm going to show you how to create custom events, and here I'm going to pass this here. I'm going to uncomment this code, and then I'm going to take here this on header. I'm going to take it, and then I'm pass at the bottom in here. You can see in here we are going to create custom events on the server, and then we're gonna listen to them. Now what I'm going to do first, I'm going to uncomment this state in here. You can see we have a state text here, and then I pass it to use effects in order to listen to change to modification of this state. And then we take this state, we pass it to the H1. Okay, and then what I'm doing in here, I'm listening to event 1. Once the server emits the event 1, we are going to listen to it on a client, and then what I'm going to do in here, I'm passing here JSON parse event data, and then we're going to pass here we're going to pass it the state. We are going to append it the message. If when we're going to receive the second event, we are going to take again the message, we're going to append it to the state. Okay, when we're going to receive again the thread, we're going to do the same thing, and once we receive an end event from the server, we are going to close the connection. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to move here on the server. I'm going to comment this. I'm not comment this code in here, and then I'm going to uncomment the second HP here. I'm not uncomment the second endpoint in here. Let me uncomment this. Okay, and now you can see we have here second endpoint. I just comment the first one. Now in here, guys, you can see you just pass here text encoder class. So we use text encoder class in order to encode the message, because the first one here, we don't encode the message, we don't encode the chunk. In production, it can't work. Okay, it can't work pretty well. Now it's better to encode the message. Now here, what I'm doing here, I'm creating a function, ServerSend event in here. We're gonna pass here a custom event, and we're gonna pass it data, and then pass here encoder, and then I encode the event, but also data. Now you can see we pass here controller.enqueue in order to send a chunk of data. And then I pass here the name of the event. This is a custom event, event1. And then we pass here the message. Okay, this is JSON, this is JavaScript objects. And then we're gonna take it, we're gonna stringify it. Then here we are going to send another chunk with the event name, event2. And then we're gonna pass here hello. We're gonna pass here from. We're gonna send the second event, and then we're gonna send here the third event. Okay, we pass here Alice. The message right now is Alice. And then we have here a last event, which is end. And on the client, once we're going to receive here end, we are going to close the connection. And if we have an error from the server, we can close to the connection. Okay, and here, this is how we listen to custom events. Okay, now if we head into the browser, and then if I click here test bar end, first of all we receive hello, then we're gonna receive another chunk which is from, and then finally we're gonna receive the last chunk, okay, Alice. So the last event here, you can see for the last one is end, and once we are going to listen to the end event in here, we're gonna close the connection because we don't want to keep open the connection, guys. We are going to close it. Okay, once we receive here end event, we are going to close the connection, and then if we have an error on the server, we can close to the connection. And that's how it works, guys. It's pretty simple. You can see if I pass here, I go here, you can see hello, we pass here from, and then we can pass here again another event. Let me pass here event 4. I can pass here hello from Alice. I wanna something like this, and then we can have another event, maybe 5. I can pass here go and pass here go. You're gonna see we are going to receive this. Let me first do this. I'm gonna copy this, and then I'm pass it here, and I'm going to remove these two one here. Yeah, I'm going to remove here go. We're going to receive go. Go, it's gonna be the last one. Okay, I don't want to close the connection here. I'm gonna remove here end. Okay, we're gonna receive here go. Okay, 4 5. Okay, now we can go to the client here, and then we can pass. I'm gonna cap this like this, and then pass here 4 and 5, 4 and here 5. Okay, we pass here JSON the parse. Okay, we parse the data, we convert the data to JavaScript objects, and then pass it the message. Okay, now if we head into the browser, you're gonna see it's gonna work. I'm gonna refresh the page here, and then I'm going to click here this. We receive hello, and then here we're gonna receive here another event. Now we receive from, yeah, hello from Alice. I wanna go. Yeah, you can see it works pretty well, guys. And then once we listen to the last event, we're gonna close the connection, and that's how it works. This is the process that we're gonna use, guys. Okay, this is the process that we're gonna use. Now in the next step, I'm gonna show you how to pull this in practice. I see you there. Now we're gonna learn how to stream LLM tokens. Go at LangChain.com, head into the section here, streaming. You're gonna see streaming, click there. And then once you click there, you're gonna see streaming. Okay, now you can see the right side we have here LLM tokens. Click there. Now this is this here. To stream tokens is the produced by the LLM. We use stream mode is equal to messages like this. And then we are going to pass here. We're gonna create an agent. And then once we create an agent, we're gonna pass here agent.stream. And then we're gonna pass here the message array. But also we're gonna pass here the stream mode is equal to message like this. Pretty simple, guys. And then you can see we have here another version. We can even pass this, the agents, and then we're gonna pass a const chunk of away agent stream. We can pass here the inputs, and then stream mode we can even pass here custom. But in our case, we're gonna use stream mode is gonna be message. Okay. Now we're gonna head into our code. I've already explained you what is server-send events. Now we're gonna use this technique in order to get chunks of tokens produced by the LLM. Now what I'm going to do in here, I'm gonna pass here ChartTools is the modal provider, and then we're gonna create an agent. Once we create an agent, we're gonna pass here for await const chunk of await agent.stream. Okay, we're gonna pass here the input. I copy this from LangChain, and then the stream mode is equal to messages, and here we're gonna pass here controller that enqueue. We're gonna enqueue a chunk into, we are going to send a chunk of message. Okay, and then in here we're gonna pass here after 1 second, I'm going to send another event in here, which is the end. And then once on client we listen to the end event, we're gonna close the connection immediately. Okay, like this. Pretty simple, guys, pretty simple. And now I'm gonna move here, and now you can see we're on the clients. And what I'm going to basically do here, I'm gonna get rid of these events in here. I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna stay with the end events, and also I'm gonna stay with event 1. You can see on the backend here we have only event 1. Okay, and here like this. And now we're gonna try this and see how it works in the browser. Okay, once we receive a token, we are going to append it immediately to the state. Okay, now let me head into the browser and see how it works. Okay, now I'm gonna refresh the page in here, and now guys, I'm going to click here test. Okay, on the test button, you're gonna see you're gonna make a request to the server here. Let me move here. I'm gonna click here test, and then yeah, you can see actually the AI is streaming, but it's pretty fast, guys. Pretty fast. It is a little bit fast, guys. Now you can see actually works. This is the technique, guys. I've already explained you how it works. Now I'm gonna make this smoother. Okay, now in order to make it smoother, here's what we're gonna do. I have here a little function type. Okay, I'm gonna copy this. Okay, I'm gonna copy this, and then I'm going to pass it in here. You can see when we are hitting that endpoints, we are streaming the message so fast. Okay, we can't see. Okay, now in order to make it smoother, I'm gonna pass it this function, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this. Okay, and I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna pass it in right here. Okay, like this. Queue that push. We're gonna push it to the queue array, and then we are going to show the message. Okay, after this time here, after the specified time, we are going to remove the message. We are going to remove the message from the queue array. Okay, now it's pretty simple. Now let's try it again. Okay, I'm gonna refresh the page again in here, and then I'm gonna click here test button again. You're gonna see, yeah, you can see actually works pretty well, guys, and it's pretty smooth. Okay, yeah, the AI finished streaming. Let me check in here. Okay, let me check in here. Yeah, the AI finished streaming. Okay, yeah, we hit here send. Okay, good. Let me try it again and see what we're gonna get. Okay, here I'm gonna click here again test. Okay, yeah, pretty good. Yeah, for the last message we are getting here, any fine? Yeah, it doesn't matter, but you learn how to stream LLM response, LLM tokens. Okay, you just learn how to do it, guys. Now, in order to understand how it works, guys, it's your turn to practice. It's your turn to practice, guys. Try to practice in order to understand it pretty well. It's pretty easy, guys. Okay, you can see it's pretty easy. Now it's your turn to practice. Now we're gonna use this technique in order to stream LLM response in the next chapter. I see you there. Now I'm going to show you how to filter a tool message while streaming. Okay, now I'm going to head into in here, guys. Now we're gonna add here set tool. You can see I import here set tool. Now if I move here, you can see if I click on test button, you're gonna see we're gonna have here the tool message. Okay, and then you can see this is what we got in here on the front end. We have here the tool message. Now, how to filter the tool message? We don't want the tool message on the front end, but instead we want a concise response of the AI. We don't want the tool message on the front end, guys. Okay, you can see huge. Now, how to remove it? We are going to make a filter in the streaming process. You can see here, in order to remove, in order to select only the AMS, we pass here message type. Okay, message type is equal to AI. Okay, if the message type is different from the AI, I'm going to skip it. But if the message type is equal to AI, we're going to return it. Okay, this is how it works. Okay, it's pretty simple. Okay, and then we're gonna return it. And in order to get the method type, we use the type property. Okay, you can see if I pass it something, we have here the type property. Okay, you can see if you want to return only the human message, we can return it. If you want to return only the tool message and we don't want to return the A message, we can do it. Okay, now we're gonna return only the A message. Okay, now I'm going to try it again. You can see, guys, this is how we can return only the A message, but not the tool message. You can see we just made a filter. Okay, now this is how you can do it, guys. If you want to return a type of message, maybe you want to return a tool message, you can try to make a filter here, guys. Okay, this is how you can do it. Now, in order to understand how it works, try to practice a little bit. Alright, guys, we just finished talking about save or send events. Now what we're gonna do next, guys, we are going to, I'm not explaining how I built the streaming endpoints. It's located inside the API folder /admin/agent/stream. We use this endpoint in order to stream AI response. And also we are going to add some tools like mail tools. We are going to add a tool in order to send an email. We're gonna add ChartTools in order to generate data that we can pass to a chart widgets. So in here, we're gonna create here some tool that allows to generate chart data for pie charts and line charts. And also we are going to install this package here, Recharts. We're gonna use it in order to draw charts. You can see in here, you're gonna tap this npm Recharts and then tap enter. And once you tap enter, guys, they're gonna take you to this page here. Right here, you're gonna see this, and then you can copy here some code. Okay, now I'm gonna close this, and here, guys, you can see in the chat box here, you can see when the AI return chart data, we can pass it to a chart widget in order to show up the charts. Now in here, I've already created a chart widget. I'm gonna pass it charts widget. Okay, this is a chart widget. This is a component, guys. Now I call the chart widget inside the chat box, and then what I'm basically doing, guys, I'm checking if the chart type is equal to pie charts or line. Then we're gonna take this data, we're gonna pass it to the chart widgets in order to display the charts. Okay. Now, first of all, I wanna explain you this endpoint in here, and then we are going to continue. Now I'm going to head into the agent folder. You can see we have agent folder, and we have here stream folder and roots. Okay, now we have here an endpoint. Okay, now what I'm going to do in here, guys, you can see in here I'm extracting the project ID, user ID, but also the content. I extract these properties that we send from the backend when we tap something into the input. We're gonna extract the project ID, user ID, and contents. Then in here we have here another function. Okay, we have here workflow service, and then in here we have here inside the workflow service we have a function that allows to fetch the execution tree. Now I'm going to head into in here fetch parse execution tree. Now we use this function in order to fetch the execution tree. Okay, because when we save the workflows data, we create here the agent tree. Let me show you where we have it. Now you can see here, guys. Let me go at the top here. You can see we have workflows folder. Now inside the workflows folder, we have here an endpoints. Oh, right here. Okay, we have here this. Yeah, this is the endpoint. Okay, yeah, this is the endpoint. Now I'm gonna reduce the zoom so that you can see. Now you can see in here we have an endpoint that allows to save workflows data. Okay, save and pass a save workflow data. Okay, now this is the usage of this endpoint. Now in here you can see we extract here the project ID, user ID, the edges, execution tree, nodes, and workflow type. Okay, and in here what I'm doing in here, guys, I'm taking here I'm calling here the extract agent structure function. I've already explained you what is the extract agent structure. We extract the agent structure, and then we take it, we store it inside the workflows table. Okay, we store the project ID, user ID, workflow edge. We pass here, we store even the execution tree, and also we take the agent structure, we store it inside the agent tree column. And then we have here another function, has embedding chain. What this function basically does. The purpose of this function allows us to show the uploads button in here. If we don't have in a workflow, you can see this is the workflow. Okay, we have here the input node, the embedding node, and the vector DB node. Now, if we have this, we are going to enable file upload. Okay, because in here we said we have here the embedding model, and here we have a vector database. Okay, so that once we upload a file, we can embed it. Okay, now once we have something like this, they're gonna enable here, they're gonna give us the possibility to upload a file. You can see in here we have has embedding chain. Okay, and in here I'm checking if we have the input node, and if we have the embedding node, and if we have the vector DB node, we're gonna enable file uploading. Okay, and inside the workflow table, okay, enable file uploading, I'm gonna click here. You can see inside the workflow service, we have here this function, enable file upload. Okay, now we have a column called file upload. We are going to pass here true. And then on the front end, when we visit a given workflow, if the file upload is equal to true, we are going to show this button, this upload button right here that you can see in here. We're gonna show the button in here. And once we show that, we're gonna have the possibility to upload file. Now in here, we have here inside the API folder, workflows, API folder, you can see we have workflows. You can see we have upload folder. Inside the upload folder, this the endpoint I've already created. Now we use it in order to upload a file. Now, so once we upload a file, we're gonna take here the uploaded file, and then we are going to take the full path of the file. We're gonna embed it. Okay, we have here doc embedding. I've already explained you everything about embedding. If you don't know what is embedding, go check it out the first part. We create this function in the first part. We talks about a lot of stuff like recursive character splitter. We talk about cohere embedding. We are going to take this file, this PDF, and then we're gonna embed it. Now, once we embed it, the AI can use a retrieval tool in order to retrieve data from a vector database. And now I'm gonna continue here, guys. I'm going to go back inside the agent folder. I'm gonna go back inside the stream endpoints. And then in here, guys, here, let me show you what we have inside MongoDB. Now you can see we have here the edges execution tree, and we have here the agent tree. For the agent tree, we built the agent tree when we save workflows data. So when we hit save, we are going to hit these endpoints, okay? We have here this endpoint. So the workflows folder, we have an endpoint that allows to save workflows data. You can see save workflows data. So when we save workflows data, we take the execution tree and then we extract the agent structure, okay? And then we have here the agent structure. That's what we save in here, okay? Now, this is the agent structure that we take, guys, and then we pass it to the build multi-agent function in order to build an agent. If I go inside the stream folder, you can see in here, guys, we get here we fetch here the parse execution tree, and then we have here the agent tree. Okay, we parse it, and then you can see in here we have a function builds multi-agent system. We take now this tree right here. This is the tree. It is instructions. It has tools for the agents. We take it and then we pass it to these agents to have a fully working agent. Now you can see in here at the bottom here we pass here something like stream. Yeah, at the bottom here we pass here main agent dot stream. Okay. We pass here the stream function in order to stream LLM response, LLM tokens, okay? And then we have here a fully working agent, okay? Now, before the build multi-agent system function, we have here function that allows to write the data inside the chart history, okay? Now you can see this is a tool, okay? In the first part, I teach you how to create a tool. Now you can see in here we have a tool that allows to write data inside a file, chart history. Now if we head into inside the public folder, you're gonna see we have it right here. public folder, chart history. This is the chart history. You can see the chart history is pretty long. You can see we have here the user message. Also, we have the AI, and you can see in the AI message, sometimes we can have chart data. If we ask the AI to generate a chart, the AI can return data that looks like this, okay? And once we have this kind of data on the front end inside the chart box, we are going to check if we have the chart tab. If we have chart tab, it means we have chart data. We can take it and then we can inject it to the chart widgets, okay? We have here chart widgets. I've already show you this, okay? We're gonna take the data, we're gonna pass it to the chart widgets in order to display charts. Now that we have a fully working agent, okay, we have here a stream agent. Now what we're gonna do next is to start streaming the A message, and we're going to use server-send events. I've already explained you server-send events, and we have here function server-send events. We're gonna pass you some custom events, and here we're gonna pass the data, which is the A message, the message generated by the AI, and then here we are going to move right here. We are going to iterate through the AI message. Once the AI generated message, we're gonna take it and then we're gonna pass it. We're gonna send it immediately to the client. You can see we send here an event, the name of the event, which is raw. We're gonna send a raw AI message and then we're gonna pass it the change. And then we continue. We are making here some check. Filtering the chart message, okay? You know, our agents, if the agent possesses a chart tool allows the agent to generate chart data for chart widgets. You can see in here we have chart widgets. The chart widget, it allows to display a charts. Now at the backend we have a tool that allows to generate data for the charts, okay? Now once the agent generate data for the charts, we are going to pick the data of pie charts and the data of line charts. We are going to take it and then we're gonna send it to the client. We are going to stream it, okay? You can see here, if I scroll a little bit, you can see we pass here stream charts, okay? We push it immediately. And then we have a message, we pass here raw AI and here tab charts, okay? We're gonna stream it immediately. We're gonna send it immediately to the client in order to provide the chart widget data, okay? And then here we are making a check if we have here some other tool call, we are going to skip them, okay? We aren't gonna care about that, okay? And yeah, now you can see at the end here we call here again route to chart history. Now once the AI finish streaming, we are going to take the message, we're gonna store it into the chart history, okay? The chart history is a file, chart history, and pass here. This is the chart history. Once the AI finished streaming, we're going to take the entire message, we're gonna keep it inside the chart history, okay? Now I'm going to present you some tools that I've added in the app. Like we have ChartTools. So if we head into the ChartTools file, you can see here, guys, we have two tools, pie chart tool and line chart tool. The pie chart tool allows to generate data for the pie charts. And we have here another tool, line chart tool, allows to generate data for the line charts. Okay, the AI basically call it in order to generate data that we can pass to a line charts. And you can see I've already shown you, if we head into the chart history, the JSON, you can see if I'm looking for charts here, I'm passing charts, you're gonna see we're gonna have here some chart data. Okay, let me move right here. You can see we have a chart data. The AI use this tool in order to generate the data that looks like this. This is the data that we can pass to the charts. Let's say for a pie chart, if on the client in the chart message we detect the chart tab is equal to pie charts, we are going to take the data and then we're going to pass it to the chart widgets. And then inside the chart widget, we are making a check again. If the chart tab is equal to pie charts, we're going to display a pie chart with this data. Okay, you can see it's pretty simple, guys. I'm going to go back inside the ChartTools file. You can see that's what we got in here, guys. We have two tools, one to generate data for the pie charts and one to generate data for the line charts. We have here another tool like calendar tool. This one that allows to create a calendar events. Okay, we pass it to AI. If we pass to the AI can provide the summary, description of the event, start time, end time, and time zone. You know, the AI is pretty intelligent, okay? It's pretty smart. It's gonna ask you the summary of the event, the description, start time, end time zone, okay? And you can see we pass here some input, okay? The AI is gonna ask you these inputs in order to create a calendar events. And you can see in the first part, guys, we create the Google Calendar service. You can see it's the Google Calendar service we created in the first part. And this class here contains a function that allows to create calendar events, okay? You can see we have here, if I scroll a little bit, you're gonna see we have a function create calendar, create events, okay? We call that function inside create calendar event tool, okay? And also we have here another function. You can see if I head into the calendar tool, you can see I pass a Google Calendar service that's from server session. You can see here I extract the access and refresh token from the session. I pass it immediately in here. And then once we are going to call the tool, we are going to authenticate. They're going to give us access. And now this is the calendar tool, guys. Pretty simple. Okay, you can create it too. We have here another tool that allows to send an email. You can see mail tools, the tiers. We have here only one tool, send email tool. We use this tool in order to send an email. And here I invoke again here function send email. Okay, we created the send email function in the first part. This function allows to send an email. We pass here the mail of the receiver, the subject, but also the message. Okay, and here you can see on this tool, I'm passing here the name. Yeah, I'm passing here some inputs that the AI is going to ask you. The AI is going to ask you the email of the receiver, the subject, but also the content, okay? And then the AI can compose an email immediately and send it, and use the tool in order to send an email. We have here another tool, query vector DB. We use this tool in order to query a vector database, to fetch data from a vector database. We have here another tool, read to sheet. We use this tool in order to read data from a Google Sheet, okay? And here, if you scroll at the bottom here, guys, you can see I pass some inputs like spreadsheet ID, sheet name, columns, page size, filter column, filter value. And here, when you're gonna call that tool, the AI is gonna ask you the spreadsheet ID, sheet name, columns that you want to read to, the page, but also the size. Okay, the AI is gonna ask you these inputs. Okay, you need to provide the AI these inputs. And at the bottom here, we have another tool that allows to write to Google Sheets. Okay, yeah, we have here read to Sheets. We have here another tool at the bottom, write to Sheets. This one allows to write data from a Google Sheet. You can provide the spreadsheet ID, sheet name, columns, and also the row. Okay, the AI is gonna know what to do. Okay, we have here a web scraping tool. This tool allows the agent to extract data from a given web page. You know, when you are building a research agent, it has two types of tool: a set tool and a web scraping tool. The agent can use a tool to grab data from the internet, and once it has this data, the agent can use a scraping tool in order to extract more data from links. Now I'm going to explain you another folder. Here you can see we have memory. So inside the memory folder, we have some tool that allows to manage the memory of the agents. The agent has a long-term memory and a short-term memory. So inside the short-term memory, we put in some preferences by you. Let's say you are chatting with the agent. The agent can store, let's say, what you love inside the short-term memory. Some hobbies, I think preferences, all about preferences. The agent store that inside the short-term memory. And for the long-term memory, the agents keep it inside a vector database. Let's say you are making a research about something, and then the AI can notice this is a huge amount of data. This can go inside the short-term memory. This needs to be stored inside long-term memory. The agent can think about that and then keep the data inside a vector database. Let's say the agent can summarize the entire chart history and keep the data inside a vector database. This is a long-term memory. Now inside the memory tool, we have memory folder. We have these tools. Okay. If I go there, you're gonna see we have a compression tool, This tool allows the agent to compress the memory. Let's say the vector database is bigger. We have the amount of token is, let's say, 3K tokens. Now the agents can compress it, okay? You can see we define a threshold, compress short-term memory. Let's say you can see we have a threshold. If the max token is equal to 2K, the agent can now call a compression tool in order to compress the memory. Okay, I think you understand. The agent can use a compression tool. If the threshold is a 10, the agent can decide to use a compression tool to compress the memory, okay, to 1K again. If the char history again goes to 2K, the agent's gonna compress it again and again. Now you can see this is the system prompt that allows the agent to know which tool to call, okay? And also we have here, if we head into the node registry, I've added here some tool like pie charts, line charts. For the memory, we have here tool that allows to send an email and tool that allows to create an event. Alright guys, now let's talk a little bit about context flooding. So what is context flooding? Context flooding is a technique used in multi-agent system in order to improve efficiency and scalability. Now, in order to understand this better, I'm now presenting you two systems. And we're going to leverage here FileSystem tools, okay? FileSystem tool, we're going to leverage FileSystem tool. Now, here's the first system, okay? You can see the first system right here this is a multi-agent system, and we have two sub-agents, reset agents and FAQ agents. Now, the reset agent, it is a tool right here, guys. You can see this is a tool. It is a tool that allows the agent to create a file. And the FAQ agent has a tool that allows it to read a file. Now, you can see at the left here, we have the same system, but here the reset agent doesn't have a tool that allows it to create a file, and the FAQ agent doesn't have a tool that allows it to read a file. So what are the cons of the second system right here? Now, in here, we are going to consume, for the second system, we're going to consume a lot of tokens. We're going to have a performance problem right here. Sometimes the main agent, if it has a lot of data, it can make mistakes, it can hallucinate, it can generate a bad response. And also we can consume a lot of tokens. Now let's see that right here. Now you can see this is the second system. Now the manager agent or the reset agent to make a research on the internet. Now the reset agent has data, it's gonna summarize data. And then we are going to have here, let's say, the data which is now summarized, 3K tokens. And once it's summarized the data, we are going to have here 2K tokens. Then we are going to return the data to the manager agents. Okay. Once we return the data to the manager agents, we are going to consume here 2K token from the provider. You know, once we send a lot of token is equal a lot of money. Now we are going to take these 2K tokens of data. We are going to pass it to the FAQ agent in order to generate FAQ questions. And again here, we are going to consume 2K token, okay? And this is money, guys, okay? Now, how to reduce the cost? Now, in order to reduce the cost, we are going to leverage system tools, okay? When I'm talking about system tool, we have here these two tools that I've added in the system. We have a tool that allows to create a file, and we have here a tool that allows to read a file. Now, in here you can see once the manager agents order the reset agent to make research, the reset agent is going to make research on the internet, find data and summarize it, and then it's going to write the data in a file. Let's say the name of the file is filename 134.md. This is the name of the file. And then the reset agent is going to keep the data inside a file. Now, once it finished doing that, it's going to inform the manager agents. I have finished making the research and the data is stored in the file name 134.md file, okay? The data is stored in the file. Now, once the manager agent get a feedback from the research agent, it's gonna order the FAQ agent to read the file name 134.md and take the data and generate FAQ questions about the data. You can see, guys, the second system is optimized. And also the system, we have here a great performance because once the research agent finish working right here, it's going to return only the file name. It's going to return something like this. Hey manager, I've already finished making research. The data is kept in the file name 134.md. And then as the manager get a feedback, you know, we sent a little amount of data, and here the manager agent is gonna know, oh yeah, the research agent has already finished making research. The data is kept in the file 134.md. Now it's gonna order the FAQ agent to read a file and then generate FAQ questions body, and then it's gonna return the data to the manager agents. Okay, you can see this system is pretty advanced than the second system. Okay, now here's how it works, guys. You can see, in order to understand this, you need some theories about how to build a multi-agent system, how to build efficient a multi-agent system. You need to have some theories in order to understand these, guys. Okay, now you can see this, the system, it works pretty well. Now I'm gonna present you these two tools right here. You can see I've created here two tools again, FileSystem tools. And in here, if I head into no registry, you can see at the bottom here, you can see the bottom, we have a tool that allows an agent to read a file, and we have a tool that allows an agent to create a file. If I click here, create and pass here, I'm gonna click right here. We're gonna head into FileSystem tools.ts, and right here you can see we have here a tool that allows an agent to create a file, and here we want to pass it the content and the prefix, which is the name of the file, and then the agent is gonna create a file. Okay, it's gonna create a file and put it and kept it inside this folder right here. This is the folder agent files, and if the agent wants to read a file, the agent can use here another tool, read markdown file tool. It's going to use this tool in order to read a file. And here we need the agent is going to pass here the file name, and then it's going to read the file. You can see it's pretty simple. You can see here's the research agents, the manager agents, and the FAQ agent. Okay. Alright, guys, now I'm going to present you image tools that I've added in the system. You know, once you know how to create a tool, you can add as many tools as you want. Now you can see in here, here's another system right here, image generator. Now you can see we have here the image generator agent. It is here two tools, a tool that allows the agent to read an image and a tool that allows the agent to generate an image. Now you can see right here is the system in action. Let me give you a quick demo. You can see these are some image generated by the system. Now here's how it works. I can take a prompt right here. I'm gonna copy prompt, and then I'm gonna pass it to the system. Okay, I'm passing you this prompt right here, and then once we pass a prompt to the system's gonna generate an image based on it. If you're good at prompting, you're gonna generate better images. You're gonna generate quality image. Okay, you can see the prompt. Now if you head into the console right here, you're gonna see at the bottom here they are processing this. Okay, now you're gonna see in a bit of moment the agent is gonna react right here. Yeah, you can see guys that actually the agent starts working. Now you can see we have here the agent's core tool right here, generate image. Okay, it's core tool that allows it to generate an image. Okay, it's called the tool and it passes the name of the file and it passes the prompt. Okay, actually they are generating the image. Okay, now once they finish generating the image, you're gonna see it. Okay, it continue working. Yeah, it continue working. Yeah, we got the image right here. You can see we have here an image of a magician. Okay, it generated an image based on the prompt. You can see here also I can upload an image and the agent can read it. Okay, it can summarize it. Okay, I can upload an image of the system right here, and then I'm pass here analyze that image. Then I'm tap enter, and then you're gonna see right here this is the image, and then I'll analyze that image for you right away. The image presents a flow chart illustrating the process of generating an image based on a received chart message. The flow chart is divided in several steps, and you can see the agent finish describing the image. Okay, we have here some image generated by the agent. If I scroll at the top here, you're gonna see it's continue working. Okay, continue working, guys. I'm gonna wait until it finish. And yeah, let's see. Okay, continue working. Yeah, it finished. Okay, it finished describing the image. Now you can see at the top here, I've already generated some image here. You can see I've generated the image of a parrot. You can see here, if I scroll at the bottom here, we got some beautiful, it can generate even thumbnail, guys. You can see, let me show you a thumbnail. This is a thumbnail, guys, our system generate. And you can see we have here, yeah, you can see, guys, this thumbnail. This is a photo generated by our system. Okay, we have here a man, and we takes a gun, but also it trying to fight a tiger. Okay, you can see here's the prompt that I've passed here. Okay, this system is working pretty well, guys. Okay, now let me explain you these two tools right here that I've added in the system. Now here's the first tool right here. I'm going to head into right here. I'm not heading to the system. Now you can see we have here image tools. Now inside the image tool, we have here a tool that allows the agent to generate an image. Okay, generate image tool. Now you can see this tool right here. I'm passing here to input the prompt, but also the file name. Now you can see here, right here, I'm using a vision model. Yeah, I'm using a model. The name of the model is Flux. You can see it right here. We have Flux. I'm using Flux as image generator model. Okay, and then once we pass here the prompt, we're going to generate an image. Now you can see we have a lot of code that we pass in a tool, that we pass in a tool function. We have a lot of code. Now I copy this code from ChartFireworks. Okay, I copy everything in here. Now if I I'm going to head into Modal Library, and then you're gonna see something right here. I'm going to choose here. Yeah, I'm gonna head into Modal Library, and you can see in here we have vision models. Okay, this is the model that I'm actually using. If I click here and click here try, and then they're gonna take you to this interface. You can see right here, guys, we have here this section right here where we can pass in a prompt. And then if you click here try API, you're gonna see the code. You can copy the TypeScript code, and then you're gonna wrap it inside the tool function. Okay, we have here the code that allows the agent to generate an image. You can copy all that code right here, and then you're gonna pass it in the tool function. You're gonna pass it right here. Everything you can pass it in here, guys, and then the agent can generate an image. Now we have here another tool that allows the agent to read an image. We pass here the image path, but also the prompt. And here, guys, I'm using a vision model, a Llama 4. Now you can head into again ChartFireworks, and now you're gonna go back Model Library, and then you're gonna see we have here some vision model. Okay, you're gonna pick a vision model. You can see we have an image model, audio model, and here we have vision model. Okay, you're gonna pick here model. Once you provide the model an image, it can read it, it can describe it. Now you can see in order to pass an image to a model, you need to pass here a message like new human message, and then you can say pass an object. I pass here the type text, but also the prompt summarize the key elements in this image clearly and concisely. And right here you can pass here the type image euro, and then we're gonna pass here a base6 image euro. Okay, you can see at the top here we have a function that takes the image and convert it to a base64 euro. Okay, now here's the function that allows to encode the image to a base64 string, and then we're gonna take the base64 string, we're gonna pass it right here, and then we're gonna pass a model that invoke, and then the model can be able to describe what it sees in the image. And again here, if we head into the node registry, you can see I pass here these two tools. Okay, once we append them to the model can be able to use them. We have here image generator tool, and we have the image reader tool. And yeah, that's all, guys. Now you can try to build this. Now I'm going to give you a high-level explanation about the ChatBox. So the most important things in here is to know how to format the AI message. You can see in here, this message is pretty clear. I can read it, and you can see also the AI can return data in a table format. in a tabular format and someone can read it. Okay, you can see it's pretty clear. Now, how to do that? Now, first of all, you have to specify in the prompt. Okay, you can see we have here the manage agents. Now I'm going to read the prompt. I'm gonna show you where I pass here a message. Okay, you can see output formatting rule. Okay, use markdown. Now once you tell the agent to use markdown, the agent's gonna return the output, the message in a markdown format. And then on the front end, we use a library which is React Markdown in order to format the A message. Okay, once we have this message, we're gonna format it so that we can have a better preview. Okay, we use the package React Markdown. Okay, that's what I'm using in here. And you can see in the ChatBox folder, we have here some components like chat input and chat message. Now, inside of the chat message is where we use the Markdown bubble component. That's what we pass to the chat message, and then in order to format the AI response. Okay, and you can see in here too, inside the chat message, we pass here the chat widgets, and here if we detect the chat type, we are going to pass here. We're gonna pass here the chat widget. We're gonna pass it there. If we have the message type is equal to charts, we're going to take here the data. We're gonna pass it to the chat widgets. Okay, guys, you can see it's pretty simple. As you already know how to use server-side events, now you can build this. You can build this, guys. Okay, now you are able. And that's all for the chat box. Now we're gonna talk about the deploy button. You can see we have a deploy button in here. If I click here, we are going to copy code. We're gonna add it to the clipboard. Now I'm going to head into the top nav component, and in here you can see we have here deploy function, and then I pass here the project ID. And then we're gonna use this project ID in order to fetch the agent tree in a database, okay, so that we can fetch the agents related to these projects. And then once we have here this script in a clipboard, we can pass it into another app, and then we are going to load the agents. Now inside the public folder, we have here folder SDK, and then in here, this function, this code in here allows to embed. I'm creating right here an iframe. And then I embed a page inside of our app. Inside of our app, we have a page called embed. Okay. Now, if I visit the page, you can see this is the page in here, embed. Okay. Now, when I visit the page, I'm going to embed it. Okay. Once we pass here this script, we are going to embed. We're gonna load the page into an iframe. Okay. That's what we are going to use in order to display the agents. Okay. In another app. Okay. You can see if I copy here this euro, let me copy here this euro. I'm gonna copy this euro, and then I'm passing it inside the browser, and let's see what we're gonna get in here. I just embed it, guys. You can see if I pass it in here, let me remove this tab right here. I'm gonna tap inner, and then you're gonna see we have here a page. You can see this is the page, guys, of the chat box. Okay. Now I take it, and then I embed it into an iframe. Okay, now I define the size of the iframe, the height and width, and then so that we are going to have a little box right here. Okay, that's what I've done, guys. Okay, I embed it. Okay, this is this web page. This page I pass it into an iframe. You can see in here I create an iframe. Okay, I define here the width and height, and then I append it. Okay. Now, once we copy the script right here, we copy this script, we pass it into another app, we are going to load the web page into an iframe. Now we're going to explore an endpoint that allows to return data for the chat box. You can see in here we have the conversation between the AI and human. Now we fetch the data in the chat history file. You can see if I pass the chat history and chat history.json. Okay, this is the file that stores the conversation between the AI and human. And in here, if we scroll a little bit, you can see we have the admin folder, and inside the admin folder, we have agent folder. Now in here, we have an endpoint at the root in here. And in here, you can see we basically retrieving here the project ID and user ID. And then we use the project ID and user ID in order to get data from the chat history. Because every project in here, guys, is a chat history, okay? You can see in here, if I click here, multi-agent system tutorial, you can see we're gonna load the data for these projects. If I switch the projects, I move to Jarvis. We are going to fetch data for the Jarvis project, okay? Like this. Okay, now in order to get data, we use the user ID and project ID. And then we return it, okay? We're gonna return here message array. And in here you can see, if you notice, I'm using here a retrieve history tool. This is a tool that I'm using, okay? I'm reading the file here. You can see here, I'm getting the file. And then we have here an array. And then I'm gonna check here if we have here the user ID is equal to user ID and project ID is equal to project ID, and then we're gonna return the array of message, okay, based on the user ID and project ID, okay. You can see it's pretty simple, guys. You can do it, okay. And once we get the data on the front end, we're gonna pass it immediately to the chat box, okay. And yeah, that's it. Alright guys, now I'm going to talk about the execution flow of an event-driven workflow. So you can see here we have an event-driven workflow. We have a trigger node, in our case, which is Drive. Let's say you modify a file inside Drive. They're going to make a webhook request to an Next.JS app, and then they can create a calendar event. They can send an email to someone, and then they create a Notion, and then they can create a Notion page. Now, this is an event-driven workflow. And at the left here, we have an agent workflow, okay? You can see there's a difference. Now, I'm going to explain you how to run these methods in sequence. Now, if I click here, play, test, event-driven workflow, okay? If I click there, you're gonna see the automation is gonna start immediately, okay? We're gonna run here the automation, okay? Now, how you run these methods in sequence, okay? We're already in a great Drive, Calendar, Notion, Slack, and Gmail. Now, each node has a class: Gmail service, Drive service, Notion service, Calendar service. Now, how to run these methods in sequence? That's what I'm going to explain you right now, how to run these methods in sequence. Now, I'm going to move here. You can see in here we have, this is, let's move right here, okay? You can see in here, inside the lib folder, you can see we have here Drive. This is Drive folder, and we have here Google Drive service. And then you can see we have here file execute Drive action. Okay, now I'm not gonna explain you all of this because right now you can understand. I'm not explaining you on a simple example. Okay, now we're gonna take here a case where we have this class, a class animal, and inside of the class animal we have two methods, dog and cat. Now we can have here another class, we can call it human. Okay, human. Okay, and here we have hello, and here we have how are you. Okay, how are you? Okay, we have two methods in here. Now you can see, let's say this is Drive class and Calendar class. Now how to run methods inside the animal class, and then once we finish running methods inside the animal class, we can move to the human class. Okay, how to do that in sequence. Now I'm going to continue. Now you can see in here I create an object right here. I name it. You can see animal action registry. Okay, and then in here we have a property dog sounds, and then we have a method dog. Cat sounds, we have here a method cat. Okay, now I register all methods that we have inside the animal class. Okay, we pass here the dog, and here we pass the cat method. Okay, now I'm going to create here a function exec animal method. The goal of this function is to basically run functions inside the animal class. Now I'm going to move here. Let me show you something. You can see this is the animal class right here, and then I instantiate it, and then in order to run a method I pass the animal. We can do something like this, animal, that's dog. You can see we can run the methods, or we can do something like animal, and then we can pass the square brackets. We can pass here the name of the method that we need to call, like dog. Okay, like this, dog, like this, and then we can pass a parenthesis, and then we're gonna call that function. Okay, this is another way to call a method in a class. Okay, now you can see here we pass here the action ID. Okay, and then I say this key of type of. I get here the type of. We're gonna get here dog sounds. And then we're gonna pass here the payload. Okay, the payload, it can be an object. And then in here, guys, pass here config to get the method. Okay, let's say when I'm gonna call exec animal method, I'm gonna pass here cat sounds. Okay, I want to run cat sounds, and then I can pass here the payload. It's going to be anything. You can see the type here is any. And then you're going to see in here, we're going to have here immediately action. We're going to pass here animal action registry. And then in here, we can pass here dog sound. Okay, as I pass here cat, we're going to have here cat sound. Okay, and then in here, guys, we are going to end up, we're going to eat this. We're going to get this. We're going to get here the method. Okay, we're going to get the method name. And then we're going to instantiate in here the class animal. And then we're going to pass the method name, config that method. Okay, we already get it here. We already retrieve it. And right here, we're going to pass here animal. We're going to pass the method name, and then we're going to invoke it. Okay, this is how we run it automatically, guys. Okay, and now if I want to run here another method, let's say I want to run here the dog method, I can pass here dog sound, and then run it automatically. You can see this is how we do it. Now, once you already do this, okay, you got the exec animal methods. Okay, we got this function right here. Now, what we're gonna do next, guys, is to create here another object, node exec registry. I can pass here node. This is a shortcut. I should pass here node execution registry. Okay, and then we're gonna take here this. I'm gonna take here this exec animal method. You can see this is the function in here. Now I'm gonna pass it right here. Okay, I pass here animal, and then I pass here the class that allows to run methods inside the animal class. And right here, guys, you can see I'm gonna pass something like this, animal, and then I'm going to pass here this, that. Okay, I'm gonna pass here something like this, animal. We can pass, if we pass animal, we need to do something like this. We need to do something like this, animal, and then we're going to pass here this, and then you can see actually guy typing error. We're gonna pass here cat sounds, and then we're gonna pass here an object. Okay, and if we run this, we are going to run here this method. Okay, you can see we have here methods, which is cat right here. And this is how we run these methods automatically in sequence. Now, here you can see on the front end, in here, if we head into the browser, you can see we have here the execution tree. Okay, this is the execution tree. Let me create here a simple execution tree. Okay, let's say the automation is gonna start with drive. Okay, drive is a trigger node in our case. Let's say file deleted. Okay, I'm passing execution tree. And then is equal to this. This is a fake execution tree. And let me pass an object. We have an event file deleted in drive. Okay, file deleted in drive. Okay, and then we have here something like this, an object. Okay, and then once the file is deleted inside drive, we have here another event that we're gonna run. Let's say drive has children in here, children. Okay, and then in here we have, let's say, an object. I'm passing an object. We are going to do what? We are going to create a calendar event, and then I'm going to pass here create calendar event. Okay, something like this, and then we are going to run this method and pass here this. I can pass here even node name, and pass a calendar. And here at the top, I'm pass node name. I'm going to pass here is drive. Node name, I'm gonna pass node name. We're gonna pass it drive, like this. Okay, now what we're gonna do in here, guys, we're going to create a function in order to loop through the execution tree. This is a fake execution tree. Okay, now we can create here a function run exec tree. Okay, something like this. And then in here we're gonna pass it an object. I say type any, and then what I'm going to do next here, I'm going to iterate through that object. Okay, and pass here cons. You can say rm. I can pass here node in. We're gonna pass here in nodes in object. Okay, in object like this. or we can pass here exec3, node in exec3. I'm gonna copy this and pass it in here. And then once we pass something like this, now we are going to pass here this. We are going to do this. We are going to pass something like this, node registry. Okay. In here too, we're gonna iterate through the node registry. Okay. We are going to make a check. You can see this node registry. Okay. Now what I'm going to do in here, I'm going to do something like this. Let's say in here we have drive. Let's say, yeah, I'm pass here drive class. Let me pass here, this is gonna be animo, okay, animo class, okay. And then we are going to do something like this. If node, we are going to pass here for cons, we are going to pass here like node registry. In yeah, we're gonna pass it in node. Yeah, we are going to pass it now in node execution registry. We're gonna pass it in here, and then we are going to make a check in here. We're gonna pass here if node is equal to node registry. Okay. If yeah, you can see in here we're gonna get here anymore. Okay. Now we're going to make a check here. If right here nodes, that's node name. Okay, I'm pass here node name like this. Okay, if node name is equal to node registry. Okay, if this node name right here is equal to this, we are going to call this. Okay, we're gonna call this right here, and then we are going to continue. Okay, we're gonna pass here node name. We're going to pass here right now the node name. Instead of passing here anymore, we're gonna pass here now something like this. The node name is gonna be right here anymore. Okay, and then as is anymore, we are going to pass here to the name of the methods. Okay, let's say right here node name anymore. Okay, for the trigger node, we don't need to run something. Okay, for the trigger node we don't run anything. Okay, maybe we can make a check, because we're gonna make a check if this is a trigger node. For the trigger node we cannot run a method like we can say node type. We're gonna send also node type. Okay, and then we're gonna check if the node type, this one is trigger. And if the node type is equal to trigger, we aren't gonna do anything. But if the node type right here is equal to action, we are going to run a method. Okay, now we are going to iterate through the execution tree. Now you can see here's the execution tree. Once we are going to iterate through the execution tree, we are going to run methods. This do it, guys. You can see it's pretty simple, guys. Just if you understand on this simple example, when you're gonna get the code, you're gonna understand it, how it works on each class. You can see in here, guys, we have Google Drive service. Okay, so this is the Google Drive service. It has a lot of methods. Okay, we can do a lot of stuff in here. Now we have here execution drive action. Okay, now you can see, let me comment this. Okay, let me comment this first. Now you can see drive action registry. Now we have here inside this file, Google Drive service, we have a lot of methods in here to run. But in here you can see I choose only some method like drive file downloaded. If we have an action like drive file downloaded, we can download a file in Drive. If we have an action like drive file deleted, we can delete a file in Drive. Now in here we have a function execute drive action. Now we're gonna get here the key. Let's say we can get here drive file delete. Then we're gonna get here the methods, and then we're gonna instantiate here drive, and then we're gonna get here the method, and then we are going to call the function, the method inside Google Drive service. You can see it's pretty easy, guys. You can see, like I did here, you can see we have here exec animo class. Try to practice a little bit, guys. Try to repeat this. And then we have here this animo action registry. And then we are going to we're going to pass it
to the node execution registry, and then we are going to iterate through the execution tree in order to run these methods in a sequence. Okay, you can see this I do it, guys. It's pretty simple. Okay, this is the process. Okay, now if we head into the calendar class, Google Calendar service, you can see in here I pass here something like calendar action. You can see this an object calendar action registry, and these are methods that we're gonna write inside Google Calendar service if these methods exist inside the execution tree. And then we are going to we pass here calendar event created. We are going to call create events. If we have a method like calendar event updated in the execution tree, we're gonna update it an event. And in here, if we head into the execute calendar action, now you can see in here we have this function. Okay, we're gonna pass here the action, and then we're gonna get access to the name. We check for required parameter, and then in here we run the method. Okay, and here I have an extra function to provide parameter. Okay, we are going to extra parameter. Okay, now for the Notion, you can see we have here Gmail. For Gmail class, I did the same thing. Gmail send email, and then we execute Gmail action, and then you can see I repeat the same process. Okay, I extract the method name, I check for parameter. Once I finish checking for parameter, and then here I'm going to pass here Gmail, the name of the class, and then the name of the methods, and then we're gonna call that function. We're gonna pass it some payload. The payload is the object. Okay, now I'm going to head into now the event-driven folder. You can see we have event-driven node execution. Now you can see we have here node execution registry. Okay, now I define here an object node execution registry. Okay, now you can see I pass here all these functions that allow us to run methods in a specific class. Okay, like for Gmail, we import here exec Gmail action. For calendar, executes calendar action. For Drive, for Slack, for Notion. Okay, I repeat the same process. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to basically iterate through these objects, and then I'm gonna call this function. Okay, if the function exists inside the execution tree, we're gonna call it. And then we have here a function now, run execution tree. Now this is the function now that allows to run these methods. Okay, you can see this is a recursive function. We pass here node incoming events, event payload, and then we are going to iterate through the array. Okay, now in here you can see you pass here the children array, and here we pass here the event type and the data. The data is the payload. And yeah, this how it works, guys. You can see you can try to do it on a simple example. Okay, try to do it on a simple example. Yeah, we have here run node. Okay, now this is a function where we extract the nodes, and then we take everything about the node, like node name, the body, and then we check here if the node type is trigger. We aren't gonna do anything, we aren't gonna run a method. But if a node type is equal to an action, we are going to run a function. Okay, we're gonna pass here the action but also the payload. This how it works, guys. You can try to practice on a simple example like I show you in here, because it is pretty complex, guys. Try to practice. Let me show you again. If we're into Drive, okay, if you're into in here, guys, inside Drive, you can see we have here this little example right here. Try to practice on this, because if I try to show you on this, it's pretty complex, guys. Okay, pretty complex. Yeah, try to practice on this animal class. You can see once you understand how it works on this animal class, you're gonna understand how it works. Okay, and yeah, you can see animal action registry, and then we have here the animal. Yeah, you can see we pass it to the node execution registry, and then you can create a basic tree right here, and then try to iterate through this basic tree in order to call some methods. Okay, try to practice on this little example, guys. Once you do that, I guarantee that you're gonna understand. The most important thing is to understand. If you don't understand, yeah, you can do anything, guys. The most important thing is to understand how it works, and once you understand the process, you can do it yourself. Alright guys, now we're gonna learn how to set up payment with Stripe. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna head on stripe.com, create an account if you haven't already created an account. And once you create an account, they're gonna take you to your Stripe dashboard. And at the bottom left corner, you're gonna see developers button. Click here, click API keys, and then you're gonna see publishable key and secret key. Once done, you're gonna head into your .env file, and then you're gonna pass there these keys. I'm gonna click here .env, and then you can see, guys, I've already passed here the Stripe publishable key and the Stripe secret key. Now we're going to head into the user schema. I've added here some columns. Let me present you these columns. You can see at the top here, we add here the Stripe customer ID, Stripe payment method, car brand, car last digits, car expiration month, car expiration year, payment type, billing email, billing name, billing country. We have here another column, already give free credit. When the user is going to sign in for the first time, we're going to give him free credit. And here, in order to check if we already give him free credit, we are going to modify the value to yes. By default, the value is equal to no. And here we have credit total, the amount of credit the user is already bought in the system, and the amount of credit the user has already used. Now we're going to head into the payment schema where we're going to store payments. We have here some columns like user ID, email, Stripe payment intent, Stripe customer ID, Stripe payment method, the amount, currency, the status. The payment can be succeed, cancelled, or failed. We have here the payment type, can be car, link, or bank. We have here the car brands, car last 4 digits, billing name, billing email, billing country. Now we're going to head into the API folder. You can see we have here admin, and we have here payments. Now I'm going to head into our payment method. Okay, this is the first endpoint. The purpose of this endpoint allows the user to add his payment methods. Once we hit that endpoint, we're going to redirect the user to Stripe so that he can provide his payment methods. And here you can see we initialize, first of all, we initialize the Stripe. Stripe is a Node.js library. So in order to get it, you're going to head on npm.js.com and pass the npm Stripe. Tap this, and then you're going to click here in order to install the package. Okay, you're going to tap npm install Stripe. Once done, we're going to go back here, and then we are going to pass here the user email in order to create a Stripe user, and then they're going to take us to Stripe to add payment methods. And once we just add a payment method, they're going to redirect us back to our app to these endpoints, API/admin/payment/retrieve session. And then once they take us to this endpoint, we're going to retrieve these informations like Stripe customer ID, Stripe payment method, payment type, car brands, car last 4 digits, car expiration month, car expiration year, billing email, billing name, but also the country. We are going to update the user table, okay? Now, once the user has already provided his payment method, now we're going to charge him, okay? We are going to head into the charge endpoints. So in here, the purpose of this endpoint is it allows to charge a user. Now we initialize the Stripe. Then we have the price map. We have a free, Go, Plus. For free, we aren't going to charge the user. For Go, we're going to charge the user $5. For Plus, we're going to charge the user $20. Now, you can see in here we have here the endpoint. I wrap it with auth middleware. Then we start here transaction. And if you're using Mongo Compass, it's not going to work. It's better to use Mongo Cloud, okay? Head on cloud.mongodb.com, create an account, and then the payment can pass, guys, because if you are using Mongo Compass lock in your computer, it's not going to work. It's better to use Mongo Cloud for this task. Now, I use here transaction. I pass here mongo.start session. And then we extract here the user ID, but also the plane. Then in here, I'm checking if the selected plane is valid. If it's invalid, we're going to throw an error. If the selected plane is equal to free, we aren't going to charge the user. Then in here, guys, we are going to convert the amount in cents. Then in here, we retrieve the user in the database. Then we check if the Stripe customer ID exists, but also the payment method exists. We are going to continue. And right here, we are going to chart the user. And then right here, we have credit logic. You can see base credit, $1 is equal to 30 credit. And then we're going to take here the amount times 30. And bonus credits, we're going to pass the amount. If the amount is greater or equal to 20, we are going to give the user 50 credits as bonus. Total credit is equal to base credit plus bonus credit. And after that, we're going to make database operation. We are going to store these transactions in the payment table. You can see we wrap it with transaction function. Okay, we pass a session that with transaction, and then we pass a callback. We pass here the first query in order to store the payment operations in the payment table. We pass here the user ID, email, payment intent, struct custom ID, the amount, currency status, payment type, car brands, car last 4 digits, billing name, email, country, but also the plan. And after that, we're going to increase the user credit. We are going to call a function add credit. We have here this function that allows to add credit for a user, and we have here another function that allows to reduce credit for a user. Now, I'm going to go back inside the payments routes, and then we are going to update a plan. If the user was using a free plan, we are going to pass here the selected plan. Okay, we have here function update plan, and then we are going to return a response to the clients. Now, if I head into the browser, you can see here, guys, we have here this interface, add payments. Now, once I click here, add payment method, they're gonna take me to this, and they're gonna take me to Stripe. Okay, we are going to add this endpoint right here, add payment method, and once we click here, they're gonna take us to Stripe. You're gonna see they take us to Stripe in order to add payment method. And then if I click here, save, we're gonna add payment method. Okay, you can see I just added payment method. Then they're gonna take us back to our app. Okay, you're gonna see in here they take us back in here, but actually I don't know why it doesn't update. Let me check here something. If I go back here, yeah, you can see actually, guys, we already added here payment methods. Now let me try to delete payment method. We have here another endpoint that allows to delete payment method. Okay, you can see remove payment method. Okay, this is the endpoint that allows to delete payment method, and we pass here this query. Okay, remove payment method, pass it the user ID as parameter, and you can see billing country, I pass here empty, billing email now, name now, car brand now, car expiration month now. We make here now, we now these columns in order to remove payment method. Okay, now if I click here, we're gonna remove payment method. Okay, you can see again here we have the possibility to add payment method. Okay, now if I click here add payment method, they're gonna take us to Stripe again in order to add payment method. And then you're gonna see, let's wait a bit. Now if I click here, let's say pay with a car, I'm gonna select here car, add a new payment method. I can pass here my car number. Okay, I can pass here 42, yeah, 42, and then I'm gonna copy 4242. We're gonna pass it in here for testing purpose, and then we're gonna pass here the expiration year in month. Okay, I'm passing 27, and then I'm passing verification code 123, like this, and then I'm gonna click here save. And once we click save, they're gonna take us back to our app. Let's wait a bit and see what we're gonna get. Okay, yeah, you can see they take us back to our app, but actually we don't update here. I'm gonna fix that later. Let me see what we got here. Let me go back in here again. Yeah, you can see actually we have the possibility to remove here the payment method. Okay, you can see we just added here the payment methods. Now if I click here, I'll click here update to go, and then we are going to modify here the plan. Yeah, you can see payments processed successfully. Okay, and here we increase the credit again. Now you can see, guys, that actually just increase here the credit. As the user choose here go, we are going to give him again 150 credits. Okay, if the user choose here plus, we're gonna give him 850 credits. Okay, it works pretty well. Now you can see
In here we have a bug. We have a bug here. Let's say if I delete here the payment method, and if I try to add it again, it doesn't update automatically. Now, in order to make it update, once we just add payment method, we are going to call a function right here, update. I extract the function from your session. We extract it in here in order to update the session. I'm not explaining you all of this. Now, how to reduce the credits. Now, you can see in here, guys, we have here 1050 credits. Now, how to reduce the credits when the user is going to start interacting with our app. Now, you can see we have here projects, AI agents. If I click here, they're going to take us to the canvas. Now, we have here the chat interface. Now, every time the user is going to chat with the agents, we're going to reduce the credits. Okay, we can head into the API folder again, admin, you can see admin, agents, and then streams. If I click here, you can see we have here this endpoint that allows to interact with the agents. Okay, you can see I have here build multi-agent system. Okay, so when the user is going to start interacting with the agents, let's say we can reduce every time the user interact with the agents, we are going to reduce 5 credits. 5 credits. Every time the user interact with the agent, we're going to reduce 5 credits, etc. Okay, I think you get the idea. Okay, it's up to you to update this inside the system. Now we are going to, I'm gonna explain something else. So you can see we have here this is not a page. You can see if I click here and I click here billing, they take us to the billing page. Now here's the billing page. If I head into in here, you can see workflows, billing. If I click here page, you can see this the billing page. We have the top nav. We have here the pricing model. We have here the add payments, a payment component. Now I'm going to click here add payments. Now this is the component. Okay, this is the add payment component, and inside of it we have here this. We have the add payment buttons. This is the add payment buttons right here. This is the first component, and then we have here plain and credit. This is a second component right here, plain and credit. And you can see the current plan here is go, and credit use here 0 out of 1050. Okay, now here's the add payment buttons. We're gonna explore it, and you can see it takes here some props like strap custom ID, car brand, car last 4 digits, loading property, add payment function, remove payment function. Okay, so once we call these functions, we are going to each these endpoints. You can see we have here this function, add payments. Okay, you can see start swap checkout. Okay, once we call the function, we are going to eat that endpoint in order to add payment method. Okay, add payment method. We're gonna eat that endpoint. We send here the user ID and the email. If I go back, we have here another function that allows to remove payment methods, delete payment method. We are going to eat that endpoint, remove payment method that we have inside the payment folder. I've already explained you the methods. We're gonna eat that endpoint in order to remove payment method. And we have here another components, plain and credit. So this allows to display the total credit and total use credits. Okay, and we have here a button that allows to toggle the credit model. You can see this is the credit model. Now if I move here, I'm gonna pass here, I'm passing pricing model like this. Pricing model, you can see the pricing model, and inside of it we pass here, this is a model. We pass here the base model. We create the base model in the first part. Then we pass here the pricing section. If I click here pricing section, and here's the pricing section, guys. We have here the pricing car. We pass here the first pricing, which is free. The second one is go, and the third one is plus. Okay, and here once we click on the button by credit, we are going to send here the user ID, but also the plan. We can send free, go, or plus. And then we are going to eat this endpoint right here, charge. We're gonna eat the charge endpoint. Okay, we are going to send the user ID but also the plan, and then we're gonna charge the user.
And that's how it works, guys. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy, guys. All methods about payment, I copied from the documentation.